didn't see you there. This is the Old Done Podcast. My name is Tracy. That's my boy Mike. How you doing, Mike?
What's going on? Apparently you giving Mr. Roger vibes over here. Like, what's good with you, bro?
I was just getting a little reading in before we did the podcast tonight.
Prosperity for all. I respect it. I definitely respect it.
A little reading in. If you care, check it out. Amazon.com.
Yep.
No plugs and nothing like that. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the Old Done Podcast. I'm Tracy. That's my boy Mike, man. What we talking about tonight, man?
Oh, man.
People have been requesting some stuff, man. People been wanting to hear us talk about some certain things.
Absolutely. So let's talk about our brother Kirk. You know what I mean? That's my guy, Kirk Franklin. So, that's been a thing. It's been kind of ongoing. So let's get into it. For those of you who don't know,
explain it first. So I think the whole world heard about it, but let's.
For those of you who don't know, there's been audio came out of Kirk Franklin. To sum it up, Kirk Franklin was getting on the son ass.
Off a piece of paper. Okay, if you think I'm reading this paper, let me say it like this. When your bitch ass starts getting shit that disrespected, you need to get your skinny motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. Because I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old. What's up? I will punch your neck, nigga. Don't you ever disrespect me. I did it.
Let's just like to sum it up, and he cursed him out a little bit, called him some names. Mm-hmm. But so that's pretty much what happened. So and he received, backlash from it. Let's just be real. He got backlash from cursing his son out, his grown son. Let's keep that. Let's put that in context. Because at first it was just like, yo, why is he talking to a child like that? And then you find out his son is 32 years old. So, and that's where we at. So what's our jumping point? Where we at with it?
I mean, where you want to start it, man? I mean, it's a lot of different avenues we could talk about. Some will be overlapping of things we've talked about before. But I think, again, it's important. And the reason that it's coming out in society now, we've talked about it. I would say that I guess we were kind of on point with some of the things that we've mentioned in previous episodes.
Yeah. We talked about, let's start with something we addressed, the whole cancel culture thing. That's one of the biggest things. We had an episode on cancel culture. So do you feel that Kirk Franklin should be canceled based on what you just, witnessed?
I mean, we have to think about the word cancel because I'm almost positive that in 2021, we've changed the definition of that word. It doesn't mean what it once meant. Like if I have a subscription and I cancel it, that means I don't have the subscription anymore. I was always confused about how that applied to people in situations. Like,
you can definitely cancel people. There's people that was in my life when I was younger that they've been canceled. Hell, Nino Brown did it.
Cancel that bitch. I'll buy it.
Yeah, but wait a minute. That young lady came back and eventually testified against him in that film. So did he?
I wanted to get out, but they threatened to kill my mother.
Who are you talking about, Mr. Brown? What they?
They. Look at it. Kareem Akbar. That's right, the educated brother from the bank. He's the real head of the CMB, the brains behind the whole thing. I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I gotta listen. Order. If I'm going down, I'm taking a whole lot of people with me.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Really cancel her? No.
Cancel it. I'll buy another one.
I mean, he said it, and that's an iconic movie line.
Oh man, yeah, for real.
And was on the stand speaking her mind. So I don't know. Canceled? I don't know. Maybe individuals should say, I'm not gonna mess with you anymore, or I'm not gonna support.
You don't believe you're gonna cancel someone out your life?
I don't. Depends on that person's role in your life.
I mean, that's an absolute fact. It definitely depends on their role, but it is possible is the question, right? Is it possible?
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. The topic is, in dealing with the Kirk Franklin thing, is can you cancel celebrities? A lot of the people who canceled them never met him anyway. So what are we talking about?
You can stop supporting his.
You don't know Kirk Franklin. You don't know that, brother.
So if we can't cancel certain things, like, doesn't that kind of mess up our fight that we have to begin with? Like, so if we're trying to trying to go a certain way, like say we use boycott. Well, are you saying we can't really? Because that's a form of canceling something, right? If we boycott something, that's it's almost the same as canceling. Like, you know, I'm boycotting. You know, like my thing right now, I canceled. Unfortunately, like, you know, and it's hurting me, but I canceled Chinese food, and we'll get into the reasons behind that later. But that's one of the things I canceled.
Okay, well, again, I think the difference between a boycott and canceling a celebrity, so to speak, is those are two very different things, right? I mean, one of the most famous boycotts, right? We're talking about the Montgomery bus boycott. Mm-hmm. Those individuals were willing to stop using the bus. I don't understand the correlation between celebrity culture and these people.
What I'm saying is,
what
I'm saying is equivalent is equivalent to. What I'm saying, no, the struggles or whatever or the reasoning for it is different, obviously,
which is obviously.
But I'm saying it's
that means something.
But it's still canceling something. You're canceling something. I'm canceling my bus rides every day. Now, for the reasons, like I said, of course, the reasons don't equal up. They don't even come close.
They don't,
you know, but it's similar, and but you know, so that's what I'm saying. So I believe we can cancel. I don't know if we should necessarily cancel, but I think a lot of people that cancel things aren't really canceling. You feel me?
I don't believe in cancel culture, especially. I don't believe in cancel culture. I'm celebrity culture as well is, again, not really something that I 100% subscribe to. So Kirk Franklin, or when any of these individuals who get a little paper or status in society, I mean, y'all are human. You put your pants on one leg at a time, just like me. Now, they might be a better brand of pants, but you put them on one leg at a time, just like I do. So when I see these individuals going through these certain things, it's not my job to cancel. Cancel you from what?
No.
What are you? Let me ask you this. What are you canceling? Does it on a Sunday?
Your support for them. Your support for them. That's what you're canceling.
On a Sunday morning, when you hear Stomp in Sunday service, that's gonna make you go less hard.
Well, wait. I will say I had a family member who got married and didn't play a certain artist at his wedding.
That's true.
But now here's my issue with partial cancels. Because now when we say, all right, I'm canceling them. Okay, cool. I'm fine. That's fine. I respect your decision, right?
Your decision being a very key in that sentence.
No, absolutely. But even with that, I respect your decision, right? Yeah. But now, so with you canceling them, are you going to cancel everything they've done? So in this particular case, and I'll say it, I don't really care, but in this particular case, R. Kelly is canceled in my nephew's head. Like, he's canceled.
He is. He doesn't like him at all.
But I'm pretty sure R. Kelly and Kanye West, for that matter. Now I'm gonna use Kanye West. He canceled Kanye West. My nephew canceled Kanye West, and that's fine. I get why. I respect your decision. But with that being said, he produced a lot of Jay-Z tracks, and Jay-Z is his favorite artist,
which your nephew still listens to.
So are you really canceling them? No, because I'll let you listen to acapellas.
It's not even the same if you do that.
Yeah, no, I made a mistake and saved the acapella album on my on Tidal one time, and that's a whole nother conversation.
I mean, it's hard. The point is, to me, regardless of you feel like, and let's get into the situation, because I don't think it's just a Kirk Franklin situation. I think we have a problem again in society. We're putting these individuals who have some status on a pedestal and taking away their humanity in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So. With that, all right. So what the issue is, we got to get into a few issues with it. So now Christians feel a certain way about it.
I've heard this.
Don't apologize to us. Fix and forgive your son and not worry about the public opinion from fans and the world. Try to fix what is broken with your blood. And I understand the music industry, which some of your friends, etc., showing you support. But are the intentions good, or is it about business? God is love, so show both from both parties. Don't run to social media to clear things. Clear it up with God and your son, because it sounded like hatred on the little call. And that, sir, isn't heaven bound. Forgive your son and fix it, and stop worrying about getting your dang fans' feelings hurt.
And you know, if that's what you believe in, that's fine. You know, I'm not here to tell you what to believe in, what not to believe in, or how to believe in what you believe in. Okay. But as a Christian, Actually, you know what? No. What I'm going to say is surprisingly, most Christians I know forgave him.
Kirk Franklin has always been there for me. So I called him and I told Kirk say, Unc, I'm having a tough day today. And I just called him to lift him up, to tell him, no, man, get your head up out the dirt because you didn't do nothing wrong. See, it's amazing to me. The pain that Kirk Franklin was in was for twofold. First of all, the betrayal of his son. That had to be devastating, that you would think so little of me, that you would take me in one of my rawest moments and try to destroy me by posting something that was purely between me and you.
Well, it looks like Kirk Franklin has found himself in the news after his son posted a video on social media of the famous gospel singer yelling and swearing at him. 32-year-old Kerryon Franklin posted the video where Kirk Franklin can be heard insulting and swearing at his son before hanging up the phone. After receiving some backlash, Kirk apologized on social media and explained, "For many years, we have had a toxic relationship with him as a family. I felt extremely disrespected in that conversation and I lost my temper. And I said words that are not appropriate, and I am sincerely sorry to all of you. I sincerely apologize." Now, not everyone was upset with Kirk Franklin. In the comments of his apology, many side with Kirk, saying that there's no need for him to apologize. Today, we have our very own Come to Hype analyst, Pierre, calling into the show, and we have to ask the question, why do so many people agree with Kirk as opposed to not? But first, let's take a look at the clip.
Off a piece of paper. Okay, if you think I'm bringing this paper, let me see it.
And some of you can raise 20 of them. 20 of them. And they only, and some of them will come back, won't even speak to you and get mad at you if you're a public figure. If you got a job on the news or you work at ESPN or you blessed enough to be a public figure that they have benefited their whole life. They done went to Chuck E. Cheese. They done went to the fair. They done went to Busch Gardens and Islands of Adventure. You done took them to the beach. And then when they get mad, they want to record a conversation and put you out there. And to Kirk Franklin's son, how is that working out for you today? Because I don't think nobody's rolling with you to do that to your father who have blessed so many people. And he is a human being. This is just not about Kirk. This is just about the adult and the entitled.
That's the crazy part. Because how could you not forgive who gave us, Now Behold the Lamb, Stomp? You feel me?
The list goes
something
on.
About the name Jesus. Like, you want us to cancel that?
Let's go.
Like, and honestly, I feel like that's what his son thought he was gonna do. But with that, you feel me?
I mean, that's another element of this too. His son, that was some celebrity culture or not. We talking about, again, harking back to that code that we speak of on this podcast often. That's sucker shit. You don't take family private conversations and put it out for public consumption. That's not really cool, especially.
But I think
recorded. That's not cool.
I think that's more of a problem now. Anyway, so let's not even just say Kirk Franklin. I think people have that problem within their family anyway. Like, the way I look at it is me and my brother, me and you, we'll never have an argument, and next thing you know, the conversation posted on Facebook.
Never.
And we may not agree on the subject. We might have a heated debate and almost come to a fight but it won't go public. It won't be posted on social media. Like, that's because that's like,
again, it's to the
like you
code.
said, that's sucker shit.
Yeah, it's to the code. You don't be lame, bro. Especially with your family. A man that, I mean, from everything Kirk Franklin has said, he's tried to help that young man in many different ways. From his mouth, right? He
tried to help the young man. He tried to help himself. Like they was going through family counseling and everything. So it's not just like a random lash out. Like it's just they've been going through something, and somebody chose to publicize it.
So getting back to those Christians that you were speaking about, they were talking about, it was the language. That was one piece of it that kind of put them over the top. What are your thoughts about the language that Brother Franklin chose to use with his son?
Was the church? Here y'all come. Here y'all come with y'all's righteous self. Y'all so righteous, man. You can't do nothing when you a Christian. And like every word out of Kirk's mouth got to have crosses on it, cause he a gospel singer. Kirk was a man before he was a gospel singer. Kirk was a sinner before he got saved. Kirk is a sinner today. But then I got news, church. So are you. Oh, see, y'all just got Kirk's cussing on tape. You trying to tell me Kirk, the only saved person that cuss? Wait a minute. Nephew Tommy has done a series of pranks with church folks. How many times on the prank have we heard some church folks cussing? Oh, Lord, please don't put this on the radio. How many times have you heard pastors that get mad and use profanity? But now Kirk use it, now all of a sudden y'all ready to ride him to hell. Well, I don't think y'all should do it that way, because y'all ain't better than Kirk. I ain't better than Kirk, and nobody's better than Kirk.
I feel like,
well, Christians in general, because again, I don't.
As
Christians using vulgarities, how you feel about it?
How do I feel personally? This is like me.
It's me and you on the All Done Podcast. Ain't nobody else.
All right. So how I feel personally about it, I feel like, you know, he's still human. You know, if you go the Christian way, we all sin and fall short of God's glory, right?
Praise him.
If we're gonna go the religious route, you feel me? If we're gonna go, we all fall, you know, and according to our, you know, the Bible and Christianity, no sin is greater than the other.
Preach.
You feel me? So if that's how we feel, and that's what the book we're choosing to follow, or the religion we're choosing to follow, then, you know, follow it. That's the whole issue I have with people that pick and choose what they want to use from the Bible. That's a big thing of mine. That's why, you know, you may hear me say I don't identify as Christian. That don't mean I don't believe in a higher power. That just means I don't believe in the politics of it. I don't believe in the, you know, rah-rah of it sometimes. So
I need to say also that this is not about, you know, Christians or, again, it's about this worship that we put these people on. Like, you would only have a problem with hearing that conversation between him and his son, a private conversation between him and his son, if you have him in a status above yourself. Because anybody with a family or anybody that has real individuals that they deal with on that real level, you've had it out with them, and maybe not as aggressive as Kirk happened to be, or maybe more aggressive than Kirk happened to be.
More, yeah. Like if you most of y'all, listen, I'm gonna be most of y'all was right. If y'all was riding on the bus and heard mom say that to baby boy, you like, yeah, get him. Right. You know, spare the rod, spoil the child. You feel me on something like that? Like, yeah, she got him, you know, and that's what we be on. But so do you think does that lend to toxic relationship with parents? Because, you know, that's been the thing lately now. Like, you know, no matter how stuff happened, you know, now that we look at it, those are toxic relationships with your parents. It was toxic, and that word's been coming out a lot lately. How do you feel about that?
You're taking away something from yours. That means you're taking away something from yours. So y'all know I'm not the person to ask about other people's business, because I mind my own. And what we get to understand is give people more than what they are and don't make them less. Let them just look at them as people, and we're human. That's it. We be trying to make people something so goddamn special. Oh, well, because this one is this one and because this one is that one. Listen, let people be fucking human. That's all it is. Let them be human. I done cussed out a few fuckers. I like it. I like it. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you got to use the words that motherfuckers can understand. When you get to using big words, they be like, well, I didn't really understand what you meant. When you say I'm sick of your raggedy black ass, that don't take a dictionary. That don't take an encyclopedia. Don't take Google. You know Big Mama sick of your raggedy black ass. It don't take no whole lot of conversation. We have gotten too goddamn sensitive now. We have gotten that shit. Now we've gotten too goddamn weak. Where we can't now talk to our family. What the hell? What the hell?
I think that we could add that word to the list of words that I just between 2020 and 2021, we got to stop with the words like let's normalize that phraseology. Don't really like that.
Let's not normalize. Let's normalize.
Toxic is another one, right? Cancel. Like, these are things that you feel like you have the power to tell people about their life, and the reality is you really don't. The problem is everybody's got an opinion, right? This podcast is predicated on people want to hear our opinion about certain topics, certain situations, certain concepts, and theories.
And we appreciate those people, by the way.
And that's fine. Everyone can participate, but there are a sector of people that will lose friends, lose family. Like, I have some aunties and uncles that was like big mad about this Kirk Franklin thing. Like,
he should have did it. He represents this, that, and the third. Yeah, but see, now once again, speaking from the Christian side, we should have got my sister on this one, but that's neither here nor there.
We'll have to fill Tammy in on this.
Yeah, but even with that, I really lost my thought for a second, but dang, I lost what I was about to say because it was profound. I was about to drop a gem for real.
All right, we'll come back to it.
But no, hey, I got it. Nah, for real now. But even with that, so let's say, you're big religious, you're big Baptist, or you're big whatever you may be, and you saying, well, Kirk Franklin did this, and he shouldn't have did this because he's a leader in the church. Well, we're all responsible for our own salvation if you believe in your religion the way you do.
You in the Bible heavy tonight.
I'm in my Bible bag.
You're in the Bible
feel me?
bag. Okay.
I might have read that book once or twice. So
hey, baby, that's fine.
But we are responsible. So if we in our Bible bag, and I'm talking to the Christians who want to cancel Kirk Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to people that want to cancel Kirk Franklin because of who he is and who he represents. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't change. Like, yes, he's fallen. As the song say, we fall down, but we can. Yes, he's fallen. He's made a mistake, but that doesn't change some of the stuff he's given us to do the right thing, to live these basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Absolutely.
You feel me?
Absolutely. And I agree with that. But again, my point is, who are you? What if I put a camera or I put a microphone in your everyday interactions with your family? Yeah. Are you coming out on the other side of that smelling like roses? I don't know if a lot of people are. I know I'm not. I know sometimes the way I deal with my folks is not the best. And as a human being, I can admit that. And I'm trying to progress and deal with it better.
Like I said, I know, speaking on my parents, because it's all Done Podcast, we keep it real as possible.
Right. We try to.
My parents love them to death. My father's a deacon in the church. My mother's a mother of the church. But I know for a fact they done gave it up crazy once or twice.
I've been there.
Let's just be real. Let's just be real. They done gave it up crazy once or twice. Does that make them less Christian than anyone else?
According to cancel culture, it would, yeah.
Yeah, no, it just makes them as much human as anybody else.
Agree. So, I mean, there's a fine line, I think, between humanism and whatever it is that you're believing, right? We're human, right? You're going to make mistakes, fall down, get back up. But I think that's even to kind of pair with that whole thing, it is less, I think it's less about what actually happened and possibly more about people just like to be able to say.
Yeah.
It's not really that they cancel anybody. It's not really that, because Kirk's gonna be good. The Franklin estate is gonna be fine.
He apologized, and I done bumped the Kirk Franklin song or two in support of him. I think, unpopular opinion, I'm not mad at him for getting in his son there like that.
Ask my children. You can ask my children. Well, you can ask my children. Has your mama ever used some words? You goddamn right. You goddamn right. I might add a couple motherfuckers in there. I like it. I might add a couple you raggedy ass. But is what I'm saying the truth? Well, yes. Well, then get the fuck on. If what I'm saying is true, get the fuck on with your feelings right now, because you wasn't in your feelings when you was doing the shit. You wasn't in your feelings when you was being slick with your mouth. You wasn't in your feelings when your ass did not follow the fucking curfew set in my goddamn house. You was what we wasn't out. Well, all that wasn't happening. But now you in your feelings because somebody had to tell your 17-year-old ass that ass is 17. Now let me tell y'all something else. You got some parents that feel like if you live in my home, it's still by my rules. Well, listen, we ain't like that. When you grown, and you do grown shit. Just be respectful with the shit that you doing. However, if you should get out of line with your grown shit, listen, if you want to be that goddamn grown, they have other addresses. They
Go ahead, talk about it.
Like I said, this was according to, you know,
about that as well. A lot of people were upset that he was very aggressive with his kid.
I mean, sometimes it takes that now, and that takes knowing your kid, of course, knowing who you're talking to, knowing your audience. But on to most accounts, like they've been going through this relationship back and forth, and I wasn't there. You know, there's always 3 sides to every story, so I wasn't there. But you know, clearly he felt disrespected by whatever his son said, and clearly there was only a reason his son only posted part of the conversation. And you know, it vexed him to that. But everybody has a button. Everybody has that pushing point that's going to push him over the ledge.
That's what they say. Everybody has a button. I mean, apparently, unless you're a devout individual.
Nah, people got buttons. You feel me? You know, once again, we're going to go back to this Bible. Jesus had a button. He walked up in the temple, flipped the table like, yo, what y'all on? You feel me? So
really in the Bible bag tonight. Go ahead.
I mean, I can sometimes. I can be. I try not to be because I don't want to seem like, you know, I'm a Bible warrior. But I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna use your religion, let's talk this thing out. You're gonna cancel him as a Christian. First of all, one of my favorite posts said, "Y'all want to cancel Kirk Franklin, but let God show some of y'all receipts."
That's a point.
You feel me?
That's a point. So I just can't get with, like I said, the whole celebrity thing and cancel culture. And we've been there before and we talked about these things. But a lot of people also seem mad about the parent thing and kind of using that as a segue. What did Kirk owe his son? Right? Like, I mean, there have been a lot of accounts about, you know, what his son was upset about and not being able to get this thing that he asked for, that thing that he asked for.
And his son knew exactly what he was doing. That's why he posted it. But his son only posted the part that he thought could hurt Kirk. He didn't post the part of what he was asking of Kirk. He didn't post the part of what led up to Kirk's anger. He ain't posted none of the years. Like Kirk was telling y'all about the therapy, but I'm telling you for a fact, he didn't post and tell you about none of the years that he's tried to make Kirk feel guilty and drag him through the mud and expect more because Kirk's new family was getting this and he didn't feel like he getting that. When Kirk's new family was bearing the fruits of his labor over the years, Kirk didn't have it to give before. But this young man, this boy, is 33 years old. How you 33 years old posting something your father said? That don't make no sense. That shows you the lack of manhood that this young man has.
Mama talking to the babies. Let me tell you something. Remember you sat down here and you told Big Mama you didn't like the way your daddy was treating you? And you didn't see him too often? And you was in your feelings about that? Remember you told Big Mama that? Well, now you somebody's daddy. And you seem to be going in the same goddamn direction that your daddy was going in. And your mama's sick of the shit. And I'm sick of the shit. I'm sick of your mama calling me, telling me the shit you ain't doing. And if you don't get your goddamn self together, what I will not. How many people do you know that told you, I'll never forget the cuss out that I got, but it straightened me up? How many of us go do that? So let's stop acting like this shit is brand new. It is not.
What, as a parent, do you owe your what is that kid, though, that man, 30 plus?
32.
What do you owe as a parent, what do you owe your 30-plus-year-old son or daughter?
And if we get you through high school and get you a little piece of shit used car when you were 16 or whatever, just to get you through high school and get you through college and pay some tuition, buy some books, get you educated, we owe you nothing. I seen Brian McKnight sons go out and try to destroy him and say what a bad father he was and this, that, and that. It's like everybody want to run to the internet and try to destroy somebody's career. I've had kids to try to destroy my image and my career. It didn't work. It don't work. You know what I'm saying? Man, these grown kids ain't no joke. When I tell you the sense of entitlement is real.
When do you stop them from suckling at the teat? And, you know, some parents feel like it's never time to stop. Like, they'll always do what they can for their kids. And I'm not saying Kirk didn't. Like I said, I don't know them personally. I don't know what happened prior to that. I don't know what happened after that.
Right, be clear. They're being used as a vehicle to talk about this concept of parenting and aggressive Christianity and godly folks, and right, we're using that situation as a vehicle. But there have been many, right?
Yeah.
We got that pastor a couple years ago doing some things with the young lady, and he was on camera doing some things, and
preachers need to eat too. This is part 2. I started this last night, and it's all over this conversation about Pastor David E. Wilson eating pussy. I find nothing absolutely wrong in eating pussy. Let me just clarify that. Ain't nothing wrong with eating a clean, good pussy. Good pussy is healthy for you. But there's a whole lot of conversation about him eating the pussy. And we're going to talk about the fact that this young woman, first of all, is an adult. She's the daughter of his wife's, best friend. So that does kind of complicate some things. And I think men, if they watch this tape, will learn some things from the pastor. Pastor was licking from the asshole to the pussy. Did some great things, not so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are things that have happened, and I mean, there are many examples. So I mean,
even if we kind of curve away from Christians, I don't want Christians to feel like I'm picking on them. Let's say people in authority powers that has issues with, example, the place I work. Once again, I refuse to say the name on here, but the big man there, like all of a sudden it was posted domestic violence. So, he was arrested for domestic violence. So what everybody's going to think immediately. But it turns out he actually just had an altercation with his stepson, who's an adult. Yeah, exactly. Who's an adult. And, all charges was dropped on him. Like I said, I don't know the full story of the situation, but pretty much argument that turned into something else, got more and more. But like I said, that man lost his job. He lost his career at a pretty big company.
It's tough.
He lost his career at this company. And like I said, when the story came out, it was domestic violence. He was arrested for domestic violence. And don't get me wrong, I don't condone anything like that. But when he was cleared of everything and, they found out what actually happened, well, it wasn't posted like, such and such cleared of domestic violence. Oh, that he didn't really do anything.
You can't.
That wasn't blessed. Yeah, you can't. Exactly.
You can't ring a bell. So
exactly.
Once that damage is done, that damage is done. The other piece that came from this that I kind of seen around a little bit is people were talking about the aggression that he had towards his kid and the threats of being physical. So a lot of people I've seen talking about saying things, well, beating or being abusive to your child verbally or otherwise doesn't work, because you got to look at it as if you were an adult and somebody was to abuse you for being late or missing a bill, does that make you want to pay the bill on time next time? And I was like, that is a reach. It's
definitely a reach. It's definitely a reach, but I will say this. It's a reach, but I will say this. I will answer that question. Depends on how bad they beat you. Because now if you go back to where we were and how we started in this country, if one slave ran away, they beat everybody almost to death. So guess what? The next time they heard somebody talking about running away, hey fam, nah. Like that's a terrible idea. That's how they enslaved us. Now, granted that I know that's a little far from what we're talking about. So, but that's how you answer your question. Well, does it make you want to pay the bill next time? Well, now, if I threaten to slap the hell out of you, you may stop asking me for money.
Parenting is hard, man.
It's tough.
Right? Like it's just a hard thing to deal with. So when you got kids and they, maybe go wayward or make mistakes, as we all do. As a parent, there's no book that somebody wrote that's like, this is how you do it, and if you do it this
is the
way,
perfect way, everything gonna turn out perfect.
Your kid's gonna turn out to be a solid person. There's just no There's no map for that. And so honestly, as parents, we all just out here doing our best. And I mean, honestly, when I see Kirk, I don't see him as some malicious, abusive dude. I think his junior knew how to push his buttons, and
I think he pushed him there. And with that being said, see, everybody doesn't have that ability to push that button. There's certain people who can push buttons with me that most people can't, you know. So that's another thing you understand. Like, so I probably can't get Kirk Franklin that mad.
I don't think you can, because you don't know him, which is a thing that we need to continue to reiterate. Y'all don't know.
Just saying.
Y'all don't know these people.
All right, so let me rephrase. Random people can't piss me off. Exactly. Or not that they can't. I won't show that they did. Because who are you? Who are you for me to give you that power over me that you piss me off? Now, the people closest to me, they absolutely can. They can affect my whole day.
That's the exact opposite. And I think that's what we're talking about. Even if I seen the Kirk Franklin story, and I mean, I seen it. It came across my little feed or whatever, but I can't let some situation that has nothing to, like, people were upset. I got aunties not talking to each other now. I got folks that your take on that Kirk Franklin thing, I'm done with you. You my family. I don't know you for 25 years, but I'm done with you. What you mean you cool with Kirk Franklin talking to his kid like that? That's ridiculous.
But here's the crazy part that just crossed my mind. If you actually listen to the tape or whatever, you can tell it's not something he does on a regular. He sounded awkward cursing. Like, you know, when somebody curses on a regular, it kind of flows a certain way. He sounded like he forced that out. Yeah. But with that being said, I've also heard that Kirk Franklin is the thug that Plies rap about being. You feel me? So I mean, some of the greatest Christians have a past. You feel me? So
that's the beautiful part about it. It's a situation where you can feel free to make a mistake, and you're not going to be condemned for it unless you're in the eye of the public. And then you know how that goes.
Then that's different. So now that brings the conversation, the public eye versus God. You know, so Kirk Franklin's apology. Do you feel it was a sincere one?
I didn't think it was even necessary. What are you apologizing for? Who are you apologizing to?
And personally, I agree with Avery Thompson on the video. I don't think Kirk Franklin owed anyone an apology. And I wouldn't apologize for shit. And I've talked to mine that way. I've talked to some because I got 2 sons or whatever, and I got a whole bunch of nephews, and I have cursed several of them out several times. And I don't care if they recorded it or not, because it's my business. You don't understand the extent of the relationship, the hurt, the damage, the pain, everything that you have went through, how many times for suspensions, how many times you had to pay attorney fees, how many times you had to go to court, how many times, everything that you went through with some of these grown ass kids or whatever. You don't understand what a lot of kids put us through. And I'm not justifying or whatever, but you don't know how he feels. You don't know his pain. You don't know his anger. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know what he had to deal with for years and years and years. Because I'm sure you can't freaking tell me that Kirk Franklin, who's been in this industry probably over 25 years, successful, has been a deadbeat dad. You can't tell me that. I'll put that up against anything. You can't tell me that he's been a deadbeat dad.
I mean, he's still a public figure. He's still a celebrity in the Christian world. On top of that,
my question stands: what are you apologizing
his fans?
For? Who are you? His fans for what? His fans that be out there doing God knows what.
I mean, that's facts. I mean, I'm pretty sure I done heard Stomp played in the club once or twice.
Come on, what's
so
that
now
song?
Here's my question:
Revolution?
Do you want a revolution?
Come on, that's a banger. I don't care if you Christian.
That's a part of Stomp, ain't it? But now here's my question though. Like, so you don't feel here's a word I'm gonna use, and you know I hate using this word.
Go ahead, man.
Do you feel he owes it to his fans?
No.
Because some people use him as their salvation.
That's another, but he's not God. Like, I don't understand.
Not God, but you know what?
What do you mean they use him as their salvation? That sounds crazy.
Neither is the Pope, and you know.
And we see, you know what? Never mind.
Chill. We almost went left. We almost went real left. Never mind. Let's reel it back in. Reel it back in. So let's go back to my really original statement, like Christianity versus popular culture. Like who? I mean, from the Christian standpoint, he owes his apology to God. But that's between him.
He could have did that on his knees.
I would say, but that's between. That's between him and God. He could have said the silent Jesus sweat prayer.
You think he owed somebody an apology?
I feel like this. If I was to do something outrageously offensive, I would have.
That's not what we talk about. See, you're wrong already.
Wait.
Outrageously offensive. He didn't do nothing outrageously.
It depends on who you're talking to.
No,
to the Christian crowd. To the Christian. To the Christian crowd. Yes, he did.
But let's live with the reality crowd.
Reality? No, he didn't do nothing crazy. He had an argument with his son.
Exactly, and that's not that deep.
But some people feel that. Some people that feel that's very deep.
Some people feel a lot of things. We can't just go around
back to what I was saying.
To everybody's feelings, because then we.
But sometimes when you're that in that position, you have to. So, like I said, if I was to do something outrageously offensive, I would apologize to the All Done listeners. Like, yo, my bad if I said this and offended you, this, that, and third. Let's keep it pushing. Because, all right, so other than Kirk Franklin, we had another celebrity recently who, wilded out. Paul Pierce out here, with strippers and weed.
What is going on? Oh, my God.
That's a brilliant segue, and again it goes back to this culture of people. I mean, that's a good topic, and it goes into a lot of things. But again,
which he did. I don't think he apologized for, by the way.
I don't know if he has anything to apologize for. Again, people want to judge people when your life is not perfect, man. Like, you've been to strip clubs and like. I heard people talking about like, well, he works for Disney, and it goes into this whole notion of like code switching, and you can be you, but don't be you at work.
Don't be you if you're a public figure.
It doesn't make sense. And again, you're putting these people on a pedestal. If you're one of those individuals that do that, you're setting yourself up to be let down.
Facts.
If Kirk Franklin, your salvation, or Paul Pierce is your hero and he's infallible and can do no wrong, you're setting yourself up for failure.
And I feel so. Here's the crazy part about that. I feel like about that with so many things. I'm happy we brought that up. Like when the whole Illuminati conspiracy was a big wave.
Kind of still is, but go ahead.
I mean, whatever. But it was just like, well, I'm not listening to such and because they devil worshippers. Well, you listen to hip hop for your religious values?
I don't think you do.
No. So what are you talking about?
But then that goes back to what you're saying. Some people do listen to Kirk Franklin for their salvation. The issue is not with Kirk or Paul. The issue is within yourself because
you see yourself.
Yeah, don't put that energy on other people. Don't do that. That's a mistake. You're setting yourself up to be disappointed because we are human beings. Mm-hmm. And yes, I don't work. Okay, so I would ask people this. Are you mad that Kirk talks to his son like that, or that Paul has them young women doing some of the things that he had them doing, or are you mad because you had to see it?
We don't know what Paul had them doing, bro. Chill out.
I don't. That's why I said it the way I said
we are be you
when you're business. That's none of my business.
When you're a public figure,
yeah.
It's okay to be you because everybody want to know the real. You got to keep it real. Ain't that what it is?
No,
wait.
They don't.
Be you that I know, but then the other you just do it in private. Don't have strippers and cocaine. Speaking of strippers, back in the day, I met Spice. Yo, Spice, wherever you at, we miss you. You know what I'm talking about, Tracy? You know what I'm talking about. Yo, Spice, we miss you. Just pull up on us one day.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. But that was neither here nor there. But nah, back to what he's saying for real though, because I like to have fun though here and there. But not for real. The issue is they want you to be you, but not the you that you really are. They want you to be you that they see themselves being one day. So all our devout Christians want to see Kirk Franklin as the end all be all. Like he brought us, Stomp and something about the name Jesus. We need that, so you can't fall short. You can't make mistakes.
I would say you need to look at it like this. Just be appreciative of that individual's contribution to your life. I have no expectation of you, but I am appreciative, Paul, that you won that championship with Boston. I was able to witness that.
I'm a Knicks fan.
And I was a kid. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan too, but that's fine. I'm talking about from a child's perspective.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, that's the truth. He's hitting shots, the big three. It's cool to me.
Did a great job on your NBA countdown. Like you did that.
Exactly. And I don't think you should be people. We are all people. And I think society is, and I think a lot of people are pushing back from this idea and concept of people having to code switch. You have to be one way. Now, obviously, right, take this with a grain of salt. I'm not saying you get to be a degenerate and then go into work and have your Sunday's best on. Because neither one of these situations are like that. Athletes go to strip clubs. That happens.
Yeah.
Are you sad because you had to see it? Kirk Franklin, as devout as he probably is, probably has fights with his wife, his son, his brothers, sister, right? Like this is family. These things happen. Yeah. So you should quell your expectations of individuals that you don't know.
And then give these individuals room to be individuals. Give them room to mess up. Like that's a lot of pressure to put on someone.
Indeed.
Let's just be real about it. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone. Like I got to be this way all the time, no matter what. And crazy part is, as crazy as Kirk wasn't in public with it.
He wasn't.
His son decided to record it and go public with it. Not saying, like I said, not saying whether he was right or wrong or.
I want to go back to his son too, because a lot of people, I heard something like this, like, and again, I don't agree with what his son did. Like, that's not really how you handle family disputes. But I heard people saying like, yeah, Kirk didn't whoop his ass enough as a kid. That's why he's on that type of time.
The next thing that y'all need to understand, every man with a grown son, practically all of us done had this conversation with our sons. Or we done had to have some come to Jesus meetings with these boys because they reach a certain age where they start smelling themselves and then all of a sudden they buck in the system. Well, when you buck up against me, you running up into manhood over here. And now since you want to act like you a thug and a gangster in here, well, whoa. Let me show you who the real OG is here. And he got a taste of it. Tommy has a son. Jay has a son. Tommy got sons. Jay got sons. I got sons. They done all bit it. They done all felt the wrath. And they had it coming. Just like Kirk's boy had it coming. So for those of you that don't have sons, that don't know how it works, this is how it really go. Kirk been trying to raise that boy for a long time. But nah, man, he's so mad at Kirk because he blaming Kirk.
And it led me to think like it had people thinking, it had people saying, individuals that I've seen and talking about, well, how do you discipline your child? I'm sure Kirk probably did everything he could for that young man. I don't know how he.
That's such a dangerous conversation.
Oh, it's a very dangerous conversation.
That's a dangerous conversation.
And this is the old podcast. Beating your kids or not beating your kids. Again, people assuming that they're the best. They have the best parent playbook and they know the right way to do it. What's your take? Whoop them up.
I'm gonna start this part off by saying I don't have any children.
You don't.
I don't have any children, but I think it's a situation of knowing your child.
Mm-hmm.
I think some respond to, a spanking. Because beating sounds bad, it sounds real bad. But I think some children respond to spanking.
Sometimes it was, boy, go get that switch. Let's
switch.
Let's normalize talking about how we got our asses whooped growing up.
No, because that was within the home. That's cold, bro.
I was joking. It's obvious.
I know you was. You was being facetious. I get it.
Yeah, we're not
But I wanted to be clear, like there's still a code. Like, yo, they don't know need to know how Norsey gave it up or didn't give it up to me.
And the kids understood that. And so again, it goes back to his son. Like, what type of shit are you on? Because the issues that I had with my parents, or when
he knew what the fallout would be.
Or whatever it was, I would never go there about my mom or my pops. I don't care what our relationship is.
Because I don't want to. First of all right, that's dumb. I'm gonna say I was trying to be, political the whole time. Kirk Franklin's son, that's dumb. Because now you possibly messing up the money anyway. And that's what we never want to do. Never want to mess up the money. Let's just be real. Now you want to mess up because he's the breadwinner.
Don't mess up the bread.
Don't mess up the bread. Like, we'll figure out a way to upset him, but don't mess up the bread. Like, I ain't gonna mess up the money. That's just dumb anyway. But now to answer your question about beating your child or not beating your child, I think you got to do what works.
It's not about beating your child or not beating your child, because whatever. I don't think you should beat your child.
I think you got to know.
If that kid got whooped, if he would have gotten whoopings, he wouldn't have been on this type of nonsense.
Nah, because I know plenty of people that got whoopings that be on BS. I know plenty of people that didn't get whoopings that's outstanding human beings. So it varies by child. It varies by person. I think once a person gets to a certain age, if they're gonna be whatever they're gonna be, they're gonna do it. So
you don't believe that Kirk telling him, what did he tell him? What did he tell him? I'll break your neck. I'll break your effing neck.
Yeah, I'll break your neck. Like, but he need to understand.
You don't believe that him telling him that had a positive impact on his life going forward?
I'm gonna tell on myself a little bit here. I don't have any children, but I coach youth football. We had a kid, I'm not gonna say his name or whatever, but he was at 8 years old, and this is no exaggeration. And if anybody don't believe me, feel free to inbox me. I'll show you a picture. At 7 or 8 years old, the kid was my height.
You 5'10", 5'11", right?
Yes. 5'10", 5'11". The kid was my height. Probably, mine was just 8 years old, probably like 160, maybe more. He's a big kid, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, but he also grew up in the home, like in a house with, it was only his parents or whatever. I mean, his grandmother or mother or whatever it was. So pretty much, they told us like, yo, we pretty much scared of him, so to speak.
That's deep. You're getting deep. Go ahead.
Because, he's huge. And the crazy part is at 7 or 8, he doesn't realize how big he really is. Mm-hmm. Like, so when he throws a fit, like he's throwing a fit, but he don't realize like, really, I'm bigger and stronger than everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I remember but even at that age, he's bigger than all the kids around him. He's really bigger than a lot of the coaches around him.
It's true.
So I remember I went to him. He had whatever fit he had. I said, okay, now pick up your helmet. And he said, no.
7, 8 years old.
But now in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, wow, he said no. But what consequences does he normally face? He's bigger than everybody. So I got close to the brother. I said, so you keep doing this shit because you're bigger than everybody else. You're not bigger than me.
You press the child. You press the child.
But I had to get it here like, yo. But you know what? That worked for him.
Yeah.
Guess what? Yeah. Next time I seen him, hey, Coach Mike.
Yeah, it was love.
Yeah, it's love. Now, granted, will I really beat up an 8-year-old kid? No. Absolutely
not on Tuesday. I got you. Good.
See, today Thursday, bro. But no, I wouldn't beat a child. But I had to do that to reach him individually. Now there's other kids where I just chop it up and like, come on, you shouldn't have did that, this, that, and third. And we talk.
And they
get it.
Yeah.
So as far as that topic of beating a child or not beating a child, I think, do what works within reason. So don't go throw your kid down those stairs, bro. Like, come on. But a little slap on the wrist or a little spank. Like, whether I agree or disagree, you got to do what works for you and your household. So maybe Kirk Franklin threatening to, break his son's neck. That might be, how he got through to him. I don't know.
It doesn't seem to be that way.
Yeah, because he struggled with the curse words. I'm not going to lie to Kirk, but I don't know. What I'm saying is, so I don't want to normalize beating or not normalize whoopings. I don't know. Like, nobody has that answer.
Facts. I would agree that it is a very, number one, complicated situation, and it is a very case-specific situation when you're talking about how you're going to deal with your kids. And obviously, we don't like to discuss the obvious, but I feel like I have to say this, everything within reason. Like, we're not talking about punching your kid in the face. Like, there is a line that
there's definitely a line.
Functioning adults know that you don't cross. Yeah. But I think there is a place like, and I mean, just the way I grew up, that's the way I grew up. I grew up like, yeah, if you got out of line, if you disrespected your parents, it would be no way, the way I grew up, that I would ever talk to my mother or a parental figure disrespectfully or antagonize them from a child's place. Like, that wasn't something that we was raised to do at all. That had consequences that I just didn't want. I didn't need that energy in my life.
And we grew up in a time where not only could, of course, your parents discipline you in whatever they see fit, but like your friends' parents. Yeah. Well, no, he at your house, treat him like you treat your kids.
Facts. The world is a very different place. But I do want to get back on the son, because I feel like as the catalyst of this, he definitely needs to be held responsible. So I also seen somebody say this. They said after this, Kurt shouldn't mess with old boy no more. You're done. You're cut off.
Cut him off. Blood, whoever said blood is thicker than water is the biggest lie ever been told. Ooh. It's people that's not related to you will show you more love and respect than your own biological kids, yes, or Lord. Nieces or nephews or cousins or mamas or daddy. Family is what people who you surround yourself with that give you love and affection. That's your family.
Amen.
You get to create your family. You don't get to choose who's in your family, who you biologically related to, but you get to create who you surround yourself with. You ain't got to go to the funeral. If somebody died, you feel uncomfortable, you don't have a relationship with that person, nobody in the family, like, what you going for? Send a flower, sign the book, go to the funeral home, sign the book, in and out, boom, 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 boom. Take your kids to the beach. You got to sit up there and be around folks that don't like you and mistreat you like you a dog. You are loved.
Yes.
You forget about the little lady that send you a little uplifting email every week at work. That sweet old lady that speak to you when you walk in the building. There you God giving you what you need. There your grandmama right there. Miss Pat, Miss Janie. I ain't got no grandparents. They dead and gone. I can go to Miss Janie's house and sit at her table and eat some whatever she cook and argue and get cussed out and everything else, because I know it come from a good place.
Okay.
To me, no, I'm never cutting off my kid. I don't care what he does.
I was gonna say, that's so tough.
Ever, I'm not cutting off my kid. So yeah,
I don't.
You did something foolish, and I eventually. I'm not gonna tell you there's not gonna be a break. We might need to have a break.
Yeah, we might need to take a break but to cut off your kid forever.
Yeah, that's
no parent that I ever known or met would do that. I'm not saying there's none that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't know. I might know a few that their kids got into some stuff when we was growing up, and it was like, I'm not gonna mess with them no more.
I'm just saying none that I know or none that I consider close to me would ever do that. I don't see you ever doing that. I don't see even my guy that's big on cancel culture. I don't see him canceling one of his kids.
But I know people, parents that have done it though. Parents
that completely canceled them.
That's like, nah, I'm just not gonna reach out to my kid. We don't talk. Some people like that. They don't talk to their one parent. They one parent was in North Carolina or Florida their whole life, and they just don't talk to that parent.
I do, but that was a decision as an adult. I don't think the parents decided to cut them off. Now, and granted, I'm not talking about deadbeats. So this is not about deadbeats. All right, this is a fact. This is definitely not about deadbeats at all.
Not at all.
But I think people who grew up in their children's lives or whatever, none of them I know were just like, yo, they messed up. I'm cutting them off.
Yeah, no, and I would agree. I just figured I'd ask so the All Done listeners could get some insight on kind of how we look. And again, I think it goes back to your moral code, your ethics, your principles, values, things that you were raised with.
Right.
For us, it's like those things are not. I could never imagine, and I don't get along with necessarily all my family, but I'm not about to put them on blast for the internet.
I'm definitely not putting them on blast.
We was talking about, like, what is it for? What do you think he did this for? You were saying that you think he did it for paint his father in a negative light?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, because I think I want to say, wasn't it a caption to the video or something like that? I didn't see the caption, but it was some type of caption like,
I try to stay
listen how Kirk Franklin talks to his son or something like that. This is how, you did that for a reason. And now whatever the reason may be, maybe playing advocate, devil's advocate, maybe it was an abusive relationship between the two. So I don't want to just
No. So then, even then, you don't do that. You take it to the police. Like that's not an out to say, I don't care if Kirk whooped your ass every day.
I mean, but that might be his escape. That might be his escape from it, right? No. Because we're not gonna agree on this one here. I already said we're not gonna agree on this one here because
you trying to get some sucker shit out.
No, I'm not trying to get no sucker shit. That's not if you've been abused for like, yo, that might be his, like, yo, this is my get back. That man whooped my ass every day for, however amount of time. This is my one chance to get it back.
I don't believe that, but now we're getting into a different topic that we could definitely talk about.
I'm not gonna say what I believe, but what I'm saying is that might be his. That might be the abused get back. This is my get back.
Fine. I need to, from my standpoint, from my eyeballs, and everybody's not built like me and everybody's not built like you. I am not going to put people that I love in a negative position, regardless of our relationship, right? Like I can have a conversation with them, or I could take it to the proper authorities if it's really something like that's really out there. Which again, I don't feel like old boy was in that type of situation. I think he was just clout chasing, to be honest. But even if it was, let's say Kurt whooped his ass every day. So if that's his outlet, what do you saw? Do you feel like he was lifting a weight off his shoulder by telling the world?
It might have been. That's his freedom. That's his escape. That's finally like, yo, this is the prison I've been living in. I want y'all to see it.
I mean, this is good because when I talk like that, you be like, oh no, now you acting like a victim.
I don't think you've ever heard me say that, bro.
Yeah, because you be trying to put it on the people, right? When I say Big Brother been abusing us and we talk about certain things, you like, no, well, you got to stand on your own tools.
That's not, I knew you was going to do something like this. That's not how our conversations go, bro.
Yes, it do. That's how
No, it don't. No. There has to be a certain amount of
victims. We, the working class, we black people, all those different oppressed groups are in a bad situation. And I'm like, no, we need to go ahead and hold them folks responsible. And so we speak out about it. You like, that's true, but you still got to get it how you live.
Do you think I disagree with what you say when you say we're the victims, Big Brother? Okay, cool. But on the same token, never mind, bro, because we about to get way to another conversation. We about to get off Kirk Franklin and Paul Pearson and strippers and all that. Let's
run it back. So all I'm saying is, if you are a victim and there was some real things that happened, you need to take that and
emotional scars.
Yeah, handle that through the proper channels.
But who's to say how you feel like it's needed to be handled? Like, what if he felt like it was?
What did you get from letting all of us know? Because
all right, so what if he felt like?
Here's reality: in 2 months, no one's gonna care.
I mean, that's true. But now,
wait,
they don't care because it was a social media thing.
Exactly.
But now let's say wait. Let's say his get back was he lashed out and killed Kirk Franklin. Like he felt like,
oh, this going left.
No, it's not going left. It's not going left because there's been cases of people being abused and then where they got over that abuse is by killing their abuser or who they felt abused.
Absolutely.
So now would that have been forgotten?
I mean, if you could use that analogy if he brought Kirk Franklin on Instagram Live and killed him, because then it's like, oh,
if he did it, period.
It's weird. Now, no, it's not, because the public element is the element that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. If he was abused by
Kirk Franklin's a public figure. It would have been a public element anyway. Think about Steve McNair.
Yeah, but no, after
Shorty didn't go live or anything.
After the fact, we wouldn't have known what Shorty was thinking. Just like if that was the route that he took because of some form of abuse, we wouldn't have known. He wouldn't have been addressing the public. He wouldn't have put out a video. It would have just been like, Kirk Franklin's son kills him, whatever. That's messed up. And then the public would have been left to their own vices to come up with their own stories.
Okay.
And that's something totally different than I'm gonna call my pops and set him up to show the world so that we can be the focal point of conversation for a news cycle. So that analogy is like, nobody's getting murdered. He wasn't. It was for clout. It was for clout.
They do anything for clout.
And when it's like, yo, it's cool. I get it, bro. We live in
that particular situation was for clout, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, we live in attention driven society. I would say that, and this is one of the last points I want to make, is this is indicative of the society that we're living in. Mm-hmm. That these people are like, yo, I will sell out my family. I'll clown myself. I'll do whatever if I can get this click. Just please let me get this click. If I can
get this click,
please let me get this click. Yeah, my father, I might mess my whole family up, but just let me get this click. That is problematic, and we really need to look into like, yo, it ain't that deep.
That, and I believe there's no more codes within families.
That's another good segue. There's no more codes.
I think that's a topic for another day, because trust me, you know I got some stuff on that.
And we started off talking about that, like me and you my brother. We would never, even if the individual issues that we've had, like, yo, call him on the phone, talk to him in person, whatever. We'll handle that between us. I'm not about to go on the internet and be like, yo, Mike, you a sucker, bro. Like,
no, never.
What we talking about right now? Like, you don't do stuff like that. And that's not a maybe. That's not a gray area situation. That is black and white.
And the reason you don't do it, I'm just gonna hit this real quick before we get up out of there. The reason you don't do that because it put chinks in the armor.
Exactly.
So if we trying to build something, we trying to grow something, we trying to present a united front. Like, yo, we here, this is what we about. The next thing I know, I post something about Tracy or I post something about my brother. That put chinks in the army for people to come and pick at it. Exactly. And I don't want to do that. That's not something I want to do. Like, if we're gonna have our internal issue, if we gonna blow up, it's gonna be internally. We're gonna blow up internally, then they're gonna be like, oh, what happened to them?
And then people probably won't know. You still won't know. You just won't see us rocking the way we was rocking. You still won't know what happened or why. It just was like, yo, they was around each other, they was messing with each other, and now they just don't.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to clear all that up. But yeah, it's about time for us to get up out of here. So what you got for me? Because I don't even think there's no solution to.
All right, so let's talk about the biggest takeaway. We can do that. We can do biggest takeaway, because I think that, again, we like to talk about concepts and theories. And again, I don't want to use, it's not about Kirk Franklin and his family. Much love to that brother and them people. It's really about just using them as a vehicle to talk about concepts and ideas surrounding family, surrounding morals, surrounding priorities and ethics. It's not about them specifically. It's not personal to anyone. We're just trying to talk about and convey our theories and our ideologies about certain topics. So what did you get from the whole situation? Biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway from the whole Kirk Franklin situation. Honestly, yo, my biggest takeaway is like, yo, the man's human. No matter what, like I said, he might be my salvation or something, or maybe your salvation, but the man's human. He makes mistakes. And that shows us, as if you could be the biggest Christian in the world, but you're still human. And I don't believe people give celebrities that space to be human.
That's a different conversation, because we don't celebrity culture, again, nonsense culture.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my takeaway. Like, we don't allow people, like, him messing up goes to speak whatever goes to show what everything he's been speaking about. You feel me? He's been speaking about, being a Christian, making mistakes, asking for forgiveness.
That's his whole. That's the whole devout. That's devout. Like, that's the whole thing. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, when you're selling gospel, that's what it's about. So with that being said, if you believe what you believe, God can forgive you for whatever, then y'all should forgive him too. Ain't no way you canceling that man. He made a mistake. He apologized for his mistake. So you should be forgiven.
Out the money, scoop your honey with the same hand. You with the G.